The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Pressure on. Brown making noise. Here is Carter. Throws it. It is picked off. Ashante Williams. He's going to get a pick six, I think. He's down at the 20. He's gone. First and 10. Backwards pass to Ferguson. He's going to throw it. He's got a man open in the end zone. Touchdown. Spencer Harris with the catch.
Fighting Illini Insider is brought to you by Fighting Illini Energy, the official electricity choice of Illini Nation. The Illini Card, the official credit card of the University of Illinois.
And hi everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Fighting Illini Insider from our studios in Champaign. We've got a bye week for football, so a chance to talk a little basketball today. Going to be joined by head coach John Groce here momentarily, and later on in the show, women's coach Matt Bollant. All that straight ahead, as well as a look at the other sports at the University of Illinois. But great to have you with us today, and we're joined by head men's basketball coach John Groce, our new coach this year. And Coach, welcome to Fighting Illini Insider. Great to have you on board, of course, and I know that you've been getting settled in with practice and getting to know your guys, and how exciting has that been?
Oh, it's been great. You know, I think the guys' attitude, their effort has been tremendous, Brian, and that's really what we're asking, you know, them to give us every single day, to bring that enthusiasm, bring a great team attitude, and give us great energy. And they've done that thus far. I
know one of the things you've talked about with me is the fact that your kids are really coachable. They are really good kids.
No question. Coachable, teachable. You know, it makes your job so much easier. I think they want to be really good. They listen well. We got several guys that pick up things very, very quickly. And that's refreshing. It gives you a chance to continue to improve and get better at a faster rate.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about playing fast. I know you like to do that. We'll see how it goes for this year as you make the transition as a new head coach. But certainly from your past, you're a coach that likes to push the basketball.
We like to attack for sure and like to be aggressive at both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. You know, how fast we play is yet to be determined. You know, it's still early here. You know, I think once we get to around our first exhibition game, we'll have a pretty good idea of how to proceed moving forward with how fast we're going to play.
No matter where you've been as an assistant or a head coach, you know that sometimes you only go as far as your upperclassmen, your seniors, as far as they can take you. Talk about those guys and how they've come along this year for their final year.
Well, they're the backbone of who we are. You know, you're talking about guys that are veterans that have been there before. They've done that, you know, and those things are invaluable. You know, experience is a tremendous teacher with Brandon and DJ, and even with Sam McLaurin coming as a fifth-year senior. And then you add Tyler. So you've got all four of those guys that have great experience and have played significant roles in college basketball. So, you know, we're going to be relying on those guys heavily.
Tell me a little bit more about Sam McLaurin. Comes in from Coastal Carolina.
Well, Sam's a guy that does all those intangible things. You know, if I'm, you know, he's one of those guys you look at the box score and it doesn't tell the entire story. You know, he sets screens to get guys open. He dives on loose balls. He blocks shots. He makes extraordinary effort plays frequently. Things that really are intangibles that help you win and succeed. And Sam's going to bring that to the table for us at a high level.
I know one thing you've raved about, Coach, with your guys during the offseason. They've worked extremely hard to get better. They've all worked at getting better. But I know one guy you've really singled out the other day, I thought, that has just kind of gone above and beyond is Nana Egwu.
No question. You know, Nana's been terrific with his disposition ever since I arrived back in the spring. I mean, he's been great in terms of giving extra. He just can't get enough. He's hungry. You know, he wants to watch film. He wants to get extra shots up. He's one of those guys that I was referring to earlier that picks things up very quickly. He wants to be great, not just good. And, you know, we're really excited about Nana, not only this year, but, you know, really for his entire career at the University of Illinois.
Well, in your offense, one of the keys will be at point guard. Tell me about how Tracy's coming along, and can he pick up what you need done?
Both guys are developing. When I say both, I'm meaning Brandon Paul as well. You know, he's shown some really good signs of playing the position here early and has been ahead of schedule. And then Tracy's been solid. So, you know, we got to continue to develop those two guys because they're going to be manning that point position. And, you know, we look forward to doing that. One thing about both those guys, very similar to Nana, is they want to learn, you know, so they're very coachable, very teachable, and we've seen them make tremendous strides, really, spring, summer, fall, and here in the early part of practice.
We talked about your offense, Coach. What about the defense? What do you try to do? Is it scramble the other teams? Is that what you try to do?
Well, obviously we want to force turnovers. We want to be very aggressive, just like we are at the offensive end, but we want to do it with a purpose. You know, I think the biggest thing for us is affecting field goal percentage, both from three and from the two-point area. and then finding ways to be disruptive, to get deflections, and that creates turnovers, and then when you create turnovers, that leads to fast break points. So, all those things work hand in hand, and it'll be things that we're watching very closely to chart the effectiveness of our defense.
You'll have a chance in the exhibition game coming up this weekend on the 27th, and then, of course, another exhibition game, and then the season for real with Colgate to start it off, and not far beyond that is the Maui Invitational. So you've got some big games ahead of you already.
It's hard to believe it's here. I mean, it's come fast. You've obviously put in a lot of time. The guys have spring, summer, fall preparing for this moment. And I told them even before practice started, I think they've earned the right to practice well. Now we got to take all these practices, understanding that every single one of them matters, and use that as a springboard heading into our first game.
A lot of the schedule is already put into place before you got here, but certainly the usual games, the Missouri game, which is always a big one, the game in Chicago. There's a lot of different, always tough matchups. The ACC Big Ten Challenge is another one that kind of looms on the horizon. We've
got a great schedule. I think it's one that's going to challenge us for sure, one that's going to put us in position where we're going to learn a lot about our team heading into Big Ten play. So, I know the guys are looking forward to it. We just want to take it one day at a time, one game at a time. Every game, every practice, every possession, every day matters. That's one of the things we've been telling the guys, and I think for the most part, thus far, they're buying into it.
You've coached in Big Ten country. You've been at a Big Ten school. I know it's great, an honor for you to be at Illinois in a great school at a great conference.
It is. It's a tremendous place. I talk about Illinois being a do-both place a lot, being so great academically and having such a tremendous basketball tradition, and how fortunate we are. I used the story the other day with the players about how every time I talk to a former player or coach or manager that's been here at Illinois in the past, they say to me, man, I'd give my left arm to go back. So, making sure that we do make sure every day is important. Make sure we don't take that for granted at all, that it's a privilege to be at the University of Illinois, playing if you're a player and coaching if you're a coach.
Well, Coach, we're glad to have you in Champaign. Good luck this year.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Coach John Groce, our first guest here on Fighting Illini Insider. When we come back, we'll be joined by women's head coach. He's new also, Coach Matt Bollant. All that straight ahead on Fighting Illini Insider.
Obviously, our family's excited to be a part of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I really mean that. Illinois, why not? Why can't we become the standard of excellence or standard of excellence amongst those teams in the Big Ten competing for championships? Why can't we do that consistently there? And the answer was, we can.
And welcome back. Fighting Illini Insider continues from our studios in Champaign. Pleased to be joined by the new women's head basketball coach, Matt Bollant, here at the University of Illinois. And Coach, welcome again to Champaign. I know your ladies have been working hard getting ready for the season, and certainly you guys are excited about the start of a new coaching staff and a new year.
Yeah, we're here and bringing change, and it's been really fun. And we, met last night with the team and just feel so good about they're giving us their trust and their hearts and really doing what we're asking them to do, and they're getting better.
I would think that's the big thing as you start anew at a new place is you've got to earn their trust, and vice versa.
Yeah, and we told them right away, the faster you give us your hearts and your trust, the faster we're going to get this changed. Mm-hmm. We have to change the culture here for us to be great, and you have to trust us that we know what we're doing to change it, and you got to put your belief in us, buy into our system, and it'll change quickly. And it really has. We're so much better off than we were last spring.
Well, Coach, why don't you tell us about some of the key people to watch this year for this women's team? I know you've got 4 returnees back, 4 starters back. Tell us about them.
Yeah, Charisma Panna really starts with her for us. She's been, we've had 11 practices, and 10.5 of those practices she's been outstanding. And we scrimmaged on Saturday. She had 29 points and 16 rebounds in that scrimmage. We're going to find ways to get her the ball and put her in positions to be successful. She can really score the basketball. We've really added, the footwork stuff has really helped her perimeter game. She didn't make many outside shots last year, where now she's going to be able to knock down outside shots and get to the rim because of her footwork stuff that we've done. And then Kirsten Megrum, playing the 4 inside. Those two will be a really good combination inside, and we feel like 2 of the better players in the Big Ten at the 4 and 5 position.
You came from Green Bay with a very aggressive style. How important are point guards and their play in your offense?
Yeah, and first thing I told them the first day on the job, hey, we're 10 points better right now than you were last season because the system fits you. you know, we're going to play extremely fast, extremely aggressively, and it really starts with Alexis Smith. We feel like she can be one of the best point guards in the Big Ten. Only a sophomore, and you know, didn't get to play a whole lot last year, but she's in much better shape. And again, the footwork stuff has really made a difference in her. The combination of speed and strength with her is really unique. You see a lot of point guards who are really quick, but almost none of them that are as strong as she is when she gets to the rim.
Tell us about, you mentioned the style of play, and it's going to be aggressive. What will it look like? What will fans see?
Yeah, you know, I think they'll see a relentless, aggressive style. We're going to pressure the ball all over the court. Offensively, we're going to attack the rim, get to the rim. You know, we really want layups and threes. We want to get to the rim and make layups, and then we want, when they help, we'll knock down open threes. And you know, and that's something we're working on, is to get better with our three-point shooting. Again, we make them step into their shot. We make them shoot it a certain way. It's really, that's one of the areas. There's some areas that we'll say adapt and adopt. You know, things that fit you. Well, the one area we don't say you can adapt. You're going to shoot the way we want you to shoot it with your footwork. If you can't step into your three, then we don't want you shooting the three. And so we're forcing them to do that, and that's helped them as well.
Tell me about your style of play, how it relates to defense.
Yeah, just aggressive. You know, in your face. Man, we're going to pressure the basketball and then switch 1 through 5. We're probably one of the only teams in the country to be able to switch 1 through 5. And that's one of the things that appealed to me about this job, is having Charisma and Kirsten inside, you know, that have good feet, and then having guards that are lengthy. Ivory and Alexis are big guards that are strong, and so it fits, you know, this system, and we'll do things that nobody else in the country will be able to do. People always want to know, I know you start with the exhibition game on October 30th. Tell us about the schedule. What kind of a schedule have you put together? Yeah, it's the schedule I inherited when I got it. The great thing is we got home games. We got 8 home games in the non-conference, which is outstanding. Now, it's probably a tougher schedule than what someone 11 wins and 19 losses should have scheduled, but at the same time, you know, with our system and change, I think we're going to be pretty good. And so it's a little early to tell, you know, how hard the strength schedule should be, but we got 8 home games, and that's really exciting, and we expect to take care of business at our house. Sounds like one thing you're looking at doing is trying to get more home games. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, that's one of the advantages of being in a school, is that you can maybe buy a game or two. On the women's side, you know, a lot of teams aren't doing that, and so we want to play. If we have 12, 13 non-conference games, we want to try to play 8 of them at home, and this year, you know, have 8 of our 12 is really outstanding. Tell us about your staff, what went into assembling that. I know some folks you're probably familiar with from your past at Green Bay, but tell us about those folks. Yeah, you know, it started with Mike DeVilbiss, obviously him coming down as associate head coach. He's kind of the inventor of the buzz. It's the #1 selling video in all of women's basketball right now, and so, yeah, and obviously he's an expert in that, and it really helps us with all facets of the game. He really can teach the game of basketball, and together we've made a really good team. And then Laquel Malone, our recruiting coordinator from Texas, was recruiting coordinator there, and Tiana Kirkland was the recruiting coordinator from Michigan. So we took 2 of the best schools in the country, took their recruiting coordinators and brought them here. So we ought to be able to go get players. And then Celeste Ratka was a player for us, All-American player, and you know, was recruited, was going to go to a Division II school before she came to Green Bay. And so we said, you know, help these kids be more like you. And then Jessica Abbas was my director there, and has a real servant's heart. So I've got a great staff and really fortunate. Tell me about coming to Illinois. I know when you recruited, you've already had some recruiting success, but just being able to recruit to a Big Ten school. You've been in a smaller market in Green Bay. Now you're in the Big Ten. Will that help you? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's why you take the job. Honestly, yeah, it's why you leave a top 10 program, is because now you can go get the best recruits in the country. Where at Green Bay, even though we were ranked in the top 10, we had to wait for the BCS schools to kind of choose who they were going to pick or recruit, and then we had to get that next kid and kind of find those diamonds in the rough. You know, now we can walk in and we can go after that diamond. You know, we can go after right away the best players. And that 2014 class, we're talking to the very best players in the country and having opportunities to, you know, hopefully get them on campus. So we're going to get a really good first class here. Your first year is your toughest year recruiting, and feel really good about the first class that we brought in. Coach, pleasure to have you in Champaign. Good luck in this upcoming season. Thank you. We appreciate it. Matt Bollant, the head coach of the women's basketball program at the University of Illinois. More to come on Fighting Illini Insider. Stay with us. Welcome back. Brian Barnhart here on Fighting Illini Insider. Again, thanks to Coach Groce and Coach Bollant for being with us on today's show. Well, one of the great venues in all of college athletics is right here in Champaign at the University of Illinois. It's Huff Hall. It's where Kevin Hambley's volleyball team plays, as well as some of the other Olympic sports at the university. But great volleyball memories in that building. That's what we're going to focus on now in this feature on Huff Hall.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Huff Hall in Champaign on the campus of the University of Illinois. It is time for Fighting Illini volleyball. it is historic as it's a campus landmark, and of course they played men's basketball here for many years, and the Sweet 16 for the state boys tournament was here for a number of years, and then just the history that has been made with this volleyball program, that's for sure. In 2003, we beat Louisville here in the second round of the NCAA tournament and went to the Sweet 16. Now, the team hadn't been in the tournament 2 out of the last 3 years and hadn't been as far as the second round, I think, for like 5 years. And it was great to get back to the Sweet 16 again. The kids' parents had bought little party hats that said Sweet 16 on them, and the players, Ashley Ettinger was on that team, were running around. And maybe it was a little bit overdone, but it was well deserved for those kids. And it was a huge win for Don, you know, and it was over Louisville, who we always seem to play big matches against. But the joy that those players had upon getting in the Sweet 16 will always be one of my fondest memories. Well, I think the most unique thing about it is that it was kind of, when they reconfigured it, built it for volleyball, but it was a lot different then. It was basically just the balcony, and then they brought the bleachers in, and that really changed it quite a bit. They're built basically right up to the sideline of the volleyball court. In fact, when we played women's basketball here, we had to push them back just a little bit, and the ones at the top were unusable because they were, you know, pushed in. And the crowd is right on top of you. Even if you're in the balcony, you're not very far away. So it's a closed-in environment, and it's always been really volleyball friendly. When the players come out, the sea of orange and blue, and just again the way the fans know about the sport, about the team, yeah, they're energized by it. They gotta be. Even if you're not playing, if you're just sitting here watching, if you can't feel the electricity or get caught up in it at least a little bit yourself, then you probably don't have a pulse.
Obviously, our family's excited to be a part of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I really mean that. Illinois, why not? Why can't we become the standard of excellence or standard of excellence amongst those teams in the Big Ten competing for championships? Why can't we do that consistently there? And the answer was, we can.
Every fall, Illinois football fans from near and far flood the gates of Memorial Stadium to see their favorite college team compete in Big Ten play. They also come to see the nation's premier college band, the always entertaining Marching Illini.
There's not a feeling in the world that can compare to it. It is absolutely one of the most proud things I've ever done.
Always present in the north end zone, players and fans look to the Marching Illini to liven up any situation with their upbeat tunes and entertaining routines.
It's our job to make sure that the crowd stays in the game to support our team.
We're going to scream, we're going to play as loud as possible, and we're going to support our team to victory no matter what.
But when it comes time to performing, the band is serious about carrying on the traditions that have made them a musical pillar for generations. Consisting of 350 members, the Marching Illini make up one of the largest college marching bands in the country.
It is an unforgettable experience. Just running in front of all that orange, especially the crowd, is just an amazing feeling. There's nothing like it.
The 3-in-1 has been here since the 1920s, and since it's been here so long, it's just a part of us, and we want to keep it going. Everyone expects them when they come to the games, and everyone gets so excited.
It's continuing on a continuity, a culture, a meaningful activity that people from years ago put into this. And I think that's one of the things that's so unique about Illinois, are these traditions that go back so many years.
It's time for the Illini Update. The volleyball team beat in-state rival Northwestern in 3 sets to 2 at home on Wednesday. Redshirt freshman outside hitter Jocelyn Burks recorded her 8th double-double of the season with 14 kills and 10 digs. Later on in the week, the Illini lost to Nebraska in straight sets. Coming up, the squad will hit the road to take on Wisconsin in Madison on Friday, October 26th, and the Golden Gophers in Minneapolis on Sunday, October 28th. The soccer team fell to Northwestern on Thursday by a score of 2-1. Later on in the week, the team celebrated Senior Day against Nebraska, where the team won 4-1 in dominating fashion. Senior Shayla Mutt scored 2 goals in her final game on the Illinois field. Coming up, the Illini will head to Ann Arbor to take on Michigan to end their regular season on Saturday, October 27th. The women's cross-country team came in 2nd place in the Illini Open. Coming up, the team will head to Lansing, Michigan to compete in the Big Ten Championships on Sunday, October 28th. The swimming team kicked off their season at home where they lost to the Northwestern Wildcats 169-131. Coming up, the team will host Michigan State on Friday, October 26th. For more information on Illini athletics, check out fightingillini.com.
Thanks so much for being with us on this week's edition of Fighting Illini Insider. I'm Brian Barnhart, your host. Next week, we'll be looking at the Illinois-Indiana homecoming game at Memorial Stadium. Thanks again to all of our coaches for being with us, and hope you enjoyed the feature on Huff Hall as well. For everybody and our entire crew in Champaign on Fighting Illini Insider on this show, I'm Brian Barnhart. We'll talk to you next week.